Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. I hope you're doing great today. In this video, we're going to talk about something that can completely change the way you approach learning, personal growth, and even success in your career. The invisible skill that separates fast learners from everyone else. Let's talk about learning something new. For the better part of a decade, I've been on a mission, almost an obsession, to figure out the most efficient way to acquire a new skill. And after years of research, coaching, and a lot of personal trial and error, I've discovered a fundamental paradox. I've found a mental trap that over 90% of people fall into, which not only slows down their progress, but almost guarantees they will eventually give up. For years, I've been fascinated by why some people seem to learn new skills incredibly fast, whether it's playing an instrument, mastering a sport, or improving academically, while others struggle for months or even years with little progress. After reading countless books, teaching hundreds of students, and experimenting with my own learning habits, I've discovered one hidden factor that explains it all. This factor isn't flashy, but it's what makes the real difference between people who learn quickly and those who don't. I call it the adjustment loop. And once you understand it, you can learn almost anything faster than you ever thought possible. But before we dive into what the adjustment loop is, let's start with a story. A few years ago, I decided to learn how to juggle. It seemed simple, throw a few balls in the air and catch them. But for weeks, I couldn't do it. Every 10 seconds, I'd drop all the balls. I kept failing no matter how long I practiced. It was frustrating. I thought maybe I just didn't have the coordination for it. Then, one day, I realized something important. I wasn't actually learning. I was just repeating. I kept practicing the same thing without thinking about what was going wrong. I wasn't paying attention to why the balls fell. I wasn't making any real changes. I was just hoping that if I kept doing it long enough, I would magically get better. That's when I discovered the power of the adjustment loop. The adjustment loop is the process that makes learning possible. You perform an action, observe the result, think about why it happened, and then try again, making a small, focused adjustment. That's how real learning happens. It sounds obvious, but most people skip this step completely. Let's imagine two people learning to play guitar. The first person, Mia, watches tons of online tutorials, learns every chord, memorizes scales, and reads about music theory. She knows a lot about playing guitar, but when she actually tries to play, her fingers move stiffly, and nothing sounds right. The second person, Leo, does something simpler. He learns just one chord, maybe G major, and practices switching to that chord until it feels easy. Then he adds another, then another. He spends most of his time playing, not just learning theory. After a month, Leo can play songs. Mia can only explain them. Who learned faster? Of course Leo did, because Leo was running his adjustment loop. Every time he practiced, he noticed what didn't work. He fixed it and tried again. Mia, on the other hand, fell into information paralysis. She had so much theory in her head that she didn't have room left for real experience. And that's the truth. You can't think your way to mastery. You can only adjust your way there. This mistake, focusing too much on knowledge instead of feedback, is everywhere. Students memorize theory, but never apply it. Entrepreneurs read countless business books, but never launch anything. Language learners study vocabulary lists, but never speak. We confuse knowing something with doing it. Our brains have limited capacity, like a bowl that can only hold so much. Each new concept or rule fills up more space. When we try to hold too many things at once, the bowl overflows. That's what's called cognitive overload. When you're overloaded, your performance actually gets worse, no matter how hard you try. You're thinking about so many things that your brain can't focus on what really matters. And that's why, ironically, the fastest way to learn is to slow down. When I went back to juggling, I applied this idea. Instead of juggling 3 balls, I started with just 1. I practiced throwing it to the same height over and over until it felt automatic. Then I added a second ball. When that felt natural, I added the third one. Within 2 weeks, I could juggle easily. That's when I realized something huge. The speed of learning depends on the speed of your feedback loop. If your feedback loop is fast, meaning you act, reflect, and adjust quickly, you'll learn rapidly. But if you're stuck in endless theory without action, your feedback loop stops, and so does your progress. So, how do you apply this to your own learning? Here's the formula. For every hour of theory you learn, spend at least 5 hours practicing it. Not just repeating the same thing, but adjusting. If you're learning public speaking, don't just watch other speakers, record yourself. Watch the video and fix one small thing each time. If you're learning to draw, don't just watch tutorials, draw something. Compare it to a reference and adjust one detail at a time. If you're learning a language, don't just memorize words. Talk to people. Notice where you get stuck and focus on improving those moments. That's how you make real progress. Now, you might ask, doesn't that make learning slower? Actually, it makes it more enjoyable because you feel yourself getting better every day. And that sense of progress is one of the strongest motivators there is. Let me tell you about a student of mine, Nora. She wanted to become a better writer. She was studying grammar, reading about story structure, and analyzing professional writing. But when it came to writing her own content, she felt stuck and overthought every sentence. So I told her to try something simple. Write just 100 words a day, focusing only on clarity. Not creativity, not emotion, just clarity. She did this for 3 weeks. By week 4, she noticed something amazing. Her writing started to sound smoother and more confident. She wasn't forcing it anymore. Her brain had turned clarity into a habit, and once something becomes a habit, it stops taking up your mental energy. That's the second secret of fast learners. Habits free up your mental bandwidth. Every time you automate one small skill, you create more mental space to learn something new. That's why some people seem to learn faster over time. They're not naturally smarter, they've simply turned more of their basic skills into habits, freeing up their brains for the next challenge. Now, Nora was improving at a steady pace, but another student, Ethan, took the opposite approach. He tried to apply 5 different writing methods at once. His mind was overloaded, and he couldn't focus long enough to see progress. After a month, Nora's writing had improved dramatically. Ethan's hadn't changed at all. That's the difference between learning efficiently and wasting time trying to learn everything at once. So here's the lesson. Don't chase more information, chase better adjustments. The world is overflowing with theory. You can learn almost anything online right now. But that information only becomes valuable when you apply it, reflect on it, and transform it into habit. The key to mastering any skill is not how much you know, but how often you adjust. Start small. Learn one thing. Practice it until it feels automatic. Then move on to the next. That's how top athletes, great musicians, and expert learners master their crafts. That's how you can learn any skill so fast it almost feels unfair. So, to wrap this up, remember this the next time you're learning something new. Don't overload yourself with too many theories. Don't try to master everything at once. Run your adjustment loop. Stop just reading the books, stuck in a loop of passive information gathering and getting too much information, because that is where the real learning begins. And remember, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. That's the invisible skill that separates fast learners from everyone else. That's all for now, my amazing friends. Thanks for joining me and watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends who need to hear it today. See you in the next video. Bye-bye for now, my dear friends.